Many gardeners struggle with soil that dries out too quickly. You water in the morning, and by midday the soil is parched. Traditional solutions often involve frequent watering, mulching, or expensive soil amendments. But, there's a method that's been quietly used for centuries, yet overlooked in modern gardening. The moisture lock technique. By learning how to capture and retain water in the soil naturally, you can drastically reduce watering frequency, improve plant health, and make your garden far more resilient to drought or heat. The method is simple in principle, but highly effective in practice, relying on layering organic matter and careful attention to soil structure. It isn't just a trick. It's a strategy grounded in historical gardening practices and permaculture principles, allowing gardeners to work with nature rather than against it. Moisture lock works because it changes the way soil retains water. Soil dries out rapidly when it is compacted, low in organic matter, or exposed directly to sun and wind. The moisture lock method addresses this by creating layers of organic material beneath the soil surface. When leaves, compost, shredded paper, or other biodegradable matter are buried under a thin layer of soil, they act like sponges. These layers absorb water when it's available and release it slowly to plant roots over time. Microbial activity in these organic layers also helps retain water, as fungi and bacteria form networks that hold moisture while breaking down nutrients for plants. Practically, this can be done by digging shallow trenches in garden beds, placing a layer of organic material like shredded leaves or kitchen scraps, and covering it lightly with soil. When you water, the topsoil remains moist longer, and plants benefit from a steady supply of water and nutrients. Organic matter is key to sustaining the moisture lock. Not all organic matter works equally well. Coarse materials like straw or shredded paper hold air and moisture, while softer materials like rotting leaves and kitchen scraps decompose quickly, releasing nutrients and absorbing water efficiently. By combining different types of organic matter, you create a layered system that both feeds plants and retains water. Historical accounts from early subsistence gardens in Europe and Asia reveal similar strategies. Gardeners would bury crop residues, leaves, and even food waste under soil to improve fertility and moisture retention simultaneously. For example, after removing weeds or old plants, chop them finely and mix them with kitchen scraps. Layer them 2 to 3 inches deep in your bed, then cover with soil. The decomposition process attracts worms and microbes, which further improve water retention and soil structure. Mulching amplifies the moisture lock effect. Once organic matter is layered and covered, adding a top mulch layer enhances water retention dramatically. Mulch reduces evaporation from the soil surface, keeps soil temperature stable, and protects delicate roots. Even in raised beds or container gardens, a 2-inch layer of leaves, straw, or grass clippings can transform soil from quick drying to a slow-release reservoir of moisture. This approach is historically consistent with traditional gardens, where farmers would cover soil with plant material after harvest, conserving water and preparing beds for the next planting season. In practical terms, water the bed after laying the mulch to activate the moisture lock. The soil beneath will stay moist longer, reducing the need for repeated watering. The moisture lock method works for all types of gardens. Vegetable beds, flower gardens, raised beds, and even potted plants benefit from moisture lock. Shallow-rooted crops like lettuce and radishes thrive immediately because their roots reach the water-rich layer near the surface. Deeper-rooted crops, such as tomatoes, peppers and squash, access moisture gradually as they grow. This method can even rescue sandy or fast-draining soil, transforming it into a fertile water-holding environment. A practical example is to create a raised bed with alternating layers of soil, shredded leaves and compost. Plant seedlings on top and cover lightly with mulch. Over weeks, the soil becomes dark, spongy and resilient, capable of sustaining crops even during dry spells. The method reduces labour while increasing yields. Because water is retained naturally, gardeners spend less time watering and more time observing plant health and growth. Worms and beneficial microbes thrive in these conditions, improving soil structure and fertility, while plants develop deeper, more resilient root systems. Over a season, beds treated with the moisture lock method often outperform traditionally watered beds in both yield and quality. Historical and modern permaculture practices emphasize the same principle. Working with natural processes minimizes effort and maximizes output. For ongoing maintenance, add new layers of organic matter at the end of each season or between plantings. Even a single layer of shredded leaves or kitchen scraps can recharge the moisture lock and prepare the soil for the next planting. The moisture lock method is sustainable and environmentally friendly. This approach reduces water consumption, recycles organic waste, and builds soil fertility without synthetic inputs. By working with natural decomposition and soil biology, gardeners create a self-sustaining system that feeds plants, attracts worms, and retains water effectively. It's a method that's as useful for historical gardening enthusiasts as it is for modern backyard growers facing climate unpredictability. If you want more forgotten gardening tricks, practical soil improvement strategies, and sustainable growing methods, subscribe to Hydro Haven. Share this with fellow history buffs and gardening enthusiasts, and start using the moisture lock method to transform your beds into resilient, water-rich soil that feeds plants for an entire season.